consecutive year. Maybe you've actually had your fill of all the souvenirs from south of the border, and you don't need them stopping and picking you up at yet another tchotchke. You'd rather fly them home and get that car back up there so they've got that same kind of level of independence that they so crave, that's so important to them. All right? This is a great time to call Beacon Shipping and Logistics. They can be found at beaconshippinglogistics.com, 855-374-4748 on the web. Ask for Eric. Tell him you heard about it on Coalition Radio. Remember, not just Kate Nagel, but folks like this, members of the community who are willing to support independent radio and the unique message that we bring to you on a day-to-day basis. Again, beaconshippinglogistics.com, 855-374-4748. And we are back on the Coalition AM 790, Facebook.com/the Coalition Radio, on the mighty Twitter at Coalition_radio, and of course at our blog, coalitionradio.us. I'm sitting here with my co-host Dave Fisher.
Pat, and I want to give Beacon just another couple of seconds of airtime here, and say my thanks for sponsoring the show, but also to show what a bad entrepreneur I would be. I just thought of this while you were talking about Beacon. They should team up with Uber and do long-haul car trips. I mean, think about it. You get a bunch of sedans on the back of a car carrier. You can fit 3 people pretty damn comfortably in a...
Dave, stick to radio.
Again, Beacon Shipping and Logistics, they will never team up with Uber and offer long-term...
No.
Right, and I think that's a testament to their business savvy.
Due to the perils of live radio, it would appear that we've been unable to hook up the connection with our friends down at the Green Tea Coalition down in Atlanta. We hope to have them on next week. We'll be in touch with them. Yes, this show is broadcast live and in person, sort of our own twisted version of Sunday Morning Live here on AM 790 Libertarian Radio. So
we give you something to listen to when you get disgusted with Meet the Press.
Right. Or outside. And we have to be nice this week because Kate Nagel is appearing right now on a recorded version of The Deadly Experiment. But, I just want to point out that you could listen to Coalition Radio, or you could listen to 4 out of 5 people pontificate about issues that they have really no command of. But on that note, I am pleased to present our next guest. This is one of the great points about independent radio and someone like myself and Dave being on the mic is that there's a lot of people I've wanted to have a conversation with in all sorts of background, whether it be the arts, politics, business. And the best part about radio is I get to meet and I get to talk to people that I admire on a personal level, political level, and just have a chat with them. That wouldn't be afforded to me if I was just your normal non-narcissistic ham and egger sitting in my basement.
And I'll say that since I started doing the steady co-hosting here, I have met more people that I consider real true American patriots and people who stand up for the little guy, and more people that I certainly walked away with not only a better knowledge of, but certainly a hell of a lot more respect.
Right, and on both sides of the aisle. And no person evokes that sentiment from me more than our current guest, Carla Howell. Carla, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Good morning, gentlemen.
A little bit of background here. Carla Howell is the political director of the National Libertarian Party of the United States of America. If you're a New Englander and listening to the show, you may remember Carla from a number of engagements. Carla has been a fixture on the political landscape, particularly in Massachusetts, where she has routinely shocked the political establishment, both as a combination of her clean, straightforward political rhetoric, addressing issues that really no one wants to discuss, the role of government, the role of the individual, personal responsibility, and truly a patriot and someone who advances freedom, at the same time taking on some pretty sacred political cows and across both major parties along the lines of Shannon O'Brien, Mitt Romney, Ted Kennedy, registering hundreds of thousands of votes against Ted Kennedy. Everyone from the Wall Street Journal, Steve Forbes, the National Taxpayers Union, across the board have endorsed her for her respective efforts. There's something that exists up in Massachusetts that we don't seem to feel we need here in Rhode Island. That's voter initiative, championing everything from the elimination of the sales tax, reduction of the personal income tax, real meat and potato issues where she can point to a career filled with accomplishments, both in terms of success at the ballot, as well as advancing people's understanding of what their potential is politically in this nation. Carla, again, welcome to the show. What I want to have here this morning, we've got about half hour, 40 minutes to talk with you, so it's a real privilege here. We can really get into the meat of the issues. I want to have here what I'll call a libertarian intervention in Rhode Island.
I knew this was going to happen today.
All right, if I could lock down the State House and lock in our esteemed legislature, which we refer to here as Halitosis Hall, they would hear these words and maybe grow a little. So, first of all, before we get into some real textbook issues about libertarianism, Carla, what was the moment in your life that, and I don't want to say radicalized, but what was the influence in your life that politicized you?
Well, I can't say it was one moment, but over the course of 4 or 5 years, it was the issue of health care, which was initially precipitated by seeing loved ones in my life being harmed by health care, and culminated when I found a brochure called Patient Power. There's also a book called Patient Power that basically says, the problem in healthcare is government. I'd been studying it for years, trying to figure out what's going on. I was working in the healthcare industry, and it came to me as an epiphany, oh my God, that's it. And all we need to do is get the government out, and healthcare will work beautifully and be cheap and efficient like the Internet is, like everything should be. But it isn't because of government, and that's the issue that got me in. And then I met a lot of libertarians who enlightened me in some areas where I wasn't a libertarian, and many where I already agreed, like government's too big and wasteful, and taxes are too high, and civil liberties I always advocated for, non-interventionist foreign policy. I was in agreement with a lot of what the libertarian philosophy is about, but what I came to understand was there's a fundamental principle behind it all, and that is that force doesn't work, not by government, not by criminals, not by terrorists. Force is a bad thing, and we may agree that some minimal government is necessary to keep the peace, for justice, for military defense, but beyond that, when government sticks its nose into things, no matter what the good intentions may be, it makes things worse. And you see that when you study government and look at the actual results that it produces with all the many, many, many hundreds and thousands of programs and billions and trillions of tax dollars that it spends, it actually makes things worse in these areas where it doesn't belong. And that idea I came to embrace through studying more, learning, talking to a lot of people. And, it's interesting, that was about 20 years ago. Now most of America is aligned with that for the most part. The libertarian view is the majority view, the silent majority view, unfortunately, the non-voting majority view in large measure. And we've got to change that. We've got to get people to say, all you need to do is get out and vote, and we can turn this around.
Is there a textbook definition of libertarianism that you can give our listeners?
There isn't one, but I'd recommend a few sources. One is the Libertarian Party platform at lp.org. And there's also various discussion of issues. If you peruse that website, there's lots of material there. Harry Browne was our presidential candidate in 96 and 2000, one of the greatest men I've ever known or heard of in my life, an absolutely phenomenal candidate, wrote 2 campaign books, one called Why Government Doesn't Work and The Great Libertarian Offer. Read either one of them. They're phenomenal. He goes through federal issues, what we need to do to downsize government and why it will make your life dramatically better. Great reading. Those are 2 that come to mind. There's lots. If you just search on libertarian, there's all kind of websites out there and sources out there. There's a lot of think tanks that analyze a lot of specific programs and why they don't work. There's quite a few options there. But so it's something that's really worth immersing yourself in somewhat. But the Cliff Notes version is the Libertarian Party platform and the Harry Browne books. Those are my 2 biggest recommendations.
What issues, in terms of right now, at this moment in time, this Sunday morning, when you look across the landscape right now, across the media, you've got talking head shows taking discussion. Is there a single issue at this moment in time that's advanced by the Libertarian Party that you would say we need to reflect on right away? Is it foreign interventionism? Is it the economy? What is the benchmark issue right now?
The benchmark issue, I would say, and I'm not speaking for all libertarians because there is no official one issue. The one issue is freedom and shrinking government. So that's the very broad picture. The one that I would focus on is spending. And having led, as you mentioned, I led several ballot initiatives in Massachusetts. 2 of them were to end the income tax. One was to cut the sales tax in half. And I've campaigned a lot. I've worked with candidates at all levels. I really think spending is the issue. Unfortunately, it's kind of a boring issue for a lot of people. It's, spreadsheets and and just a yucky subject. A lot of people find marijuana legalization a sexier, more fun topic, or ending Fourth Amendment intrusions, or a non-interventionist foreign policy. All great issues. There's many others. But the bottom line is we got to starve the beast. We've got to take the resources away, because what they do with that money is they come up with more bad programs. They throw more money at existing bad programs that we already know have failed and will fail more. And we really need to starve the beast. And then when we cut that spending, not just in a program here and there, we got to bring down the total size of government, get rid of debt, and give that money back to the taxpayers so it's not in government coffers and they can't do any damage with it. That's the number one issue.
Great. You're listening to The Coalition on AM 790, your source for news and business. Carla Howell, National Policy Director of the Libertarian Party, is with us. Facebook.com/The Coalition Radio. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Tune in every Wednesday afternoon on AM 790 at 4 p.m. for the locally produced IREM Today, the Property Management Show, presented by the Institute of Real Estate Management, Rhode Island, Chapter 88, hosted by Jason Martins. IREM Today is a live call-in show with discussion of property management issues. Special guests from all trades and programs will add insight and direction. If you missed the show, catch the podcast at 790business.com 24/7. The Property Management Show, every Wednesday on AM 790, your station for talk and business.
The New England Cannabis Convention is coming to Providence May 16th and 17th. The cannabis industry will outpace the global smartphone market next year. So come and get expert advice from over 50 vendors, including doctors, growers, suppliers, dispensaries, and caregivers. 2 full days of panels and workshops, and the best smoking, vaping, and growing accessories available. Saturday and Sunday, May 16th and 17th at the Rhode Island Convention Center in Providence. Tickets are just $25 and can be purchased online at canaticket.com. CANNA ticket.com.
Beacon Shipping Logistics will ship any car, any vehicle, anywhere in the United States with door-to-door service. Just call 855-3-SHIP-IT. They ship vehicles for thousands of auto dealers throughout the country, so you know you can trust them to provide the most reliable auto transport in the industry. And they offer open or enclosed shipping for your precious cargo. Did you see a car online and can't get there? Let Beacon Shipping ship and deliver it right to your door. Need to get your boat from West Palm to Warwick Neck? Beacon can do it. Call Beacon Shipping Logistics for transporting one car to an entire fleet. Call 855-3-SHIP-IT or beaconshippinglogistics.com for service that shines. Let Beacon Shipping Logistics take the stress out of your life. Beacon Shipping Logistics provides the most honest auto transport service in the industry. Beacon Shipping Logistics, your one source for transporting one car or a whole fleet. Call 855-374-4748 for a free quote or beaconshippinglogistics.com.
With the Bloomberg Business of Sports Report, I'm Michael Barr. Fans are waiting to see if Major League Baseball pitcher Max Scherzer is worth a 7-year, $210 million contract with the Washington Nationals. Business Week's Josh Green.
And Scherzer's agent is a guy named Scott Boras, who's kind of famous in the world of baseball for his negotiating skills, which more often than not tend to yield these mega 9-figure contracts like he got for Scherzer. So I wound up speaking to Boras and essentially saying, you have a very rare and valuable asset. How does one go about marketing a commodity like Max Scherzer?
The National Hockey League has lost its bid to throw out retired players' claims that it glorified violence and failed to protect them from repeated head injuries and concussions. According to their complaint, the severity of the brain injuries they sustained only became apparent after the players retired. And that's a Bloomberg Business of Sports report. I'm Michael Barr.
It'll be home to 942 bursts of laughter, a 16-pound blackened turkey dinner, and the loudest burp on record. It will see its fair share of broken windows, broken bones, and broken hearts. But first, you have to find it. Start your home search at Zillow.com or on our family of apps. You can view millions of photos, browse historical pricing data, and even sign up for alerts when new homes hit the market. Zillow. Find your way home.
Because almost 25% of security breaches are caused by lost or stolen devices, choosing the right technology partners becomes a critical business decision. When you have Dell Latitude laptops with Intel Core vPro processors, the most secure commercial PCs on the market, it's a decision you never have